Hey, welcome to Pond Boys. Another awesome week of just whatever you want to hear. So we've got a great show for you today. Of course, we got Pond or Die coming up, and we'll see how our guest does with that. I'm going to be playing the parts of both myself and Kirk Sherrod today. So I'm not multi-personality, but I'm going to see how I do with both things. All right? Is that okay, Rhonda? Can you help me out with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so we're joined by also our dog that barks on cue. Let's see how she does this week, Rhonda.
Okay, let's see. Hold on, let me get that opened up. Yeah, that's not one. It would help if I hit the right button, wouldn't it? Okay, let's give it a try.
All right, do it. She's sleeping.
She's got to get warmed up.
She's sleeping. She's been sleeping all night, and somehow she thinks she's got to take a nap at here at 10:30 in the morning. So she lives a tough life. So anyway, she's gonna get a bark on you today.
Nope.
Anyway, we've got a great show for you today. We are joined by none other than our guest and indie artist Jason West Jones. Welcome, dude. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. I really appreciate you having me on. I've checked out a lot of these, and I really enjoy them, and I look forward to Pond or Die.
You might not be saying that after you get done with Pond or Die, dude. So just warning you. So before we get into it with Jason, we're going to we got TJ joining us, and he is going to talk to us a little bit about something that might interest you all. So you got the floor, bro.
Okay, we're going to do Top Jimmy Approved today, and we have a GPS, a Garmin. It's a 305, right?
This is a Garmin 305.
305. This is a good unit. This unit's, retail-wise is a couple years old now, but this is a fabulous, fabulous unit. I use the 305. I've been using the 305 since 2008, I believe, the exact same one. So, and honestly, mine is starting to fail. But how many years is that? That's 6 years, right?
Yeah.
That is a killer investment, because I put that thing through the ringer. And what it is, it's a GPS unit you wear on your wrist, and it will track your workouts. And it will track your workouts far better than any of the apps you put on your phone or anything. This thing is accurate. Very, very accurate, and it has all kinds of settings. It'll measure your heart rate. It will tell you when the sun comes up, when the sun goes down, what direction you're going. It will mark your turns, like I do a lot of running in the mountains, and I can set that thing to track me out. And when I decide to turn around, this thing will literally tell me how to get back. It'll say turn left here, turn right here. You can track.
Why do you need something to tell you that the sun's going up or down? Just curious.
Well, if you're traveling and you're in a place where you're not familiar with, you might want to know, like runners, for example. This watch is geared primarily towards a runner.
I would say you've got bigger problems than not knowing where you are if you can't tell the sun's going up or down.
It's not knowing where you are. It's you're in a different place. You don't want to run in the dark.
Right.
Or you're doing a 25-mile run, or you guys are bikers. If you're doing a 50-mile bike ride, you might want to know when the sun's going down, right? You're halfway through your ride. You're like, do I got to turn around, or do I got time to finish this? Do I got my lights on me? So it comes in handy. I mean, you don't got to give me a hard time.
You're in mountainous terrain, like when the sun goes down, it can drop by like 20 degrees. So like that may be something you'd really want to know if you're like I'm in Oregon. If the sun goes down, we make a big deal out of it if we're camping.
Right. Same here. I mean, if you're at 10,000 feet on a mountain in late October or middle October, yeah, you're dealing with a temperature issue. So, but the watch will track your pace that you're actually going. It will track your average pace. It will track your total time. It will track your mile splits. You can set different splits, like I want to know how fast I got to that tree or that. I mean, it'll track everything. It will track your heart rate. and you can go back and download this on your computer. All you got to do is plug this into your computer, and it will automatically download the driver you need. And now you can store all this stuff on your computer. You can compare different runs or bike rides to previous runs and bike rides, and you can actually set the watch to race. Like you're gonna run or bike the exact same course that you've done before. You can set your watch to one of your fastest times, and it will show you. It will actually race you. It'll put a little runner on the watch and show you if you're behind that pace or ahead of that pace, and you actually can race it. That's called virtual partner, and it's like running with a partner. It will help you pace. And I mean, you open up this watch, and the settings that it has is unbelievable. And it'll track all this stuff at the same time. You can set it to 12 different screens, and just with a push of a button, you can change screens. Look at your heart rate, push of a button. Look at your pace, push of a button. Look at your average pace. Or you can set 4 of these items to appear on there on one screen, and change the screen once and have 4 more of these items on the next screen. Absolutely an amazing watch. When it first came out, it was a $499 watch. And what are you letting it go for, Ryan?
I'm gonna sell this watch to you for $50, dude.
Sweet. Now if anybody out there wants this watch, you're gonna have to beat me down there.
Yeah, you're buying it. Did he freeze up? He froze up.
Yeah, I think so.
He liked it so much he froze up.
Yeah, too much excitement for Jimmy.
This unit's a little bit older, but like you said, it's still very functional and very. I think the only real difference is it's just like any technology. Everything gets more condensed and smaller, and so they've got the same thing that does the same stuff these days, but I think it's just a little bit smaller thing. So, anyway, I think he might have left to come down here already, right? So,
He's so excited he just.
People get a hard time beating him down here, okay? So, anyway, thanks, TJ, for the info. If you come back, you can maybe finish up what you said, but I think he's like, we're going to have a still of him for the rest of the thing. All right,
hey,
man.
Ryan, can we say hello real quick to Miss Jessica?
Yeah.
She's with us this morning.
Yep.
And Tim Longwell, he says, hello, everybody. He's ready to rock it out this morning.
Yes. So we are too, man. Hey, I'm stoked. I've been looking forward to this since Jason's agreed to come on. But dude, hey Jason, so you live in Oregon, right?
Yeah, Newport, Oregon. It's about dead center on the Oregon coast.
Beautiful. I've got one of my best friends that I grew up with lives in Newport. I'm from Eugene. I grew up in Eugene, Springfield area.
Awesome, man. I thought there was something about your accent I recognized.
It's not a Utah. I'm now here in Utah, but I've never been accused of having a Utah accent. Thank goodness, because it's a little, I'm a little neck. I've got, little NASCAR loving in me, but that's.
Nothing wrong with that, man. It just means you're American.
That's another story. But so are you? I am a hardcore duck fan, and I think you're probably a hardcore beaver fan, right? Did I just say that?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be. I mean, it's not like the beavers is kind of like sacrilege. But actually, I am also a duck enthusiast because they're kind of an underdog, even though they're extremely well funded in their state. I hope for them every time, and I hope they'll. I think in the next 5 years, you're going to see a lot of big things from the Ducks.
Yeah, I just they kind of like linger in that that top 5. Of course, they're like number 12 or something right now, but seems like every year they get to that right up to that cusp, and somehow that national championship just kind of eludes them. But thanks to Daddy Nike up there, they are really well funded and have lots of recruits. But I love seeing fellow Oregonians, man. I mean. I love my home state, and Newport the Oregon coast is gorgeous, man. I love the Oregon coast. So
I agree, man.
That's a cool place to live, man. That's a cool place to live. So
yeah, I moved here because I surf. So I've surfed all over the country, different parts of the world, and not to take up too much time. when you're surfing the Oregon coast and you drop on a wave and you look around, it's like you're on another planet.
Yeah. Of course,
So
you've got to surf with the full wetsuit and head just because it ain't warm, man. It's not a warm.
It's like being in it's the same waters as Alaska. It's just about 1,000 miles down from it. Yeah, about 1,500. But yeah, it's cold. The water doesn't really warm up till you get down to Orange County, California, and not by a lot.
Not by a lot. So just a quick story about that. My brother, growing up, he had some buddies that surfed, and they were over on the Oregon coast surfing. And I can't remember what beach they were at, but they were out there waiting for a set to come in, and they saw this kind of out in the distance. They saw this raft, and a couple of people in this raft, and they were just kind of floating out, beyond where the waves were breaking. And it was really flat that day, and so they got out and decided to go to another beach to see if it was going to be any better for them. And on the way to the beach, it was probably about an hour away. They had heard on the radio that at the beach they were just at, people in a raft were attacked by a great white shark. And that's something you probably fear for that, because they are on the Oregon coast quite a bit. So.
Yeah, actually, there's been some unusual activity with them. Newport just incorporated one of the global elite's highest oceanography science institutes called NOAA. We just recently had them roll up and set up shop. And they've actually been able to help the locals with a lot of migration concepts and things that they keep track of with the locals. So we've had a reduction in shark attacks based on their data that they give us, and they have the best. They have satellites tracking stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's it. I know that Oregon State there is a huge oceanography school, and just a really interesting place. It's a really cool. I'm real familiar with Newport, and it's a great place to live. So, I've never lived there personally, but I've had friends that live there, and I know it pretty well. So, that's very, very cool. Hey, without further ado, man. So you are an indie music artist, and for people that really don't know what that is, can you explain to us what indie music is?
Well, indie music, the core of it kind of started in the late 80s, early 90s, with the same type of college radio concept that produced a lot of bands like REM from Athens, Georgia, the Pixies, that kind of stuff. That whole movement, there was kind of just a nexus of really core, devoted indie musicians, and then of course, you move it on to the present day, and there was a good chunk of time where it just kind of dropped off the map and it stayed underground for a very, very long time. And I've been an indie musician since 1994, 95, so you do the math on that. I've always been happy to keep my music underground. My music's always been non-profit and free. That means I've never charged for any of my songs.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. I have over 170 non-profit songs, and a lot of people have some of my songs on their playlist, and I just keep writing and try and keep it low-key and underground. And I let the people who want to have a heavy stake in the music industry play that card, because to me it's never really been a positive card. It's more about business than the music.
Right.
I'm sure you've had enough musicians on here to know that being a musician and writing music and being a businessman or business person, forgive me for that, are two different things. So.
Oh yeah. It's I don't pretend to be familiar with it or experience it myself, but I've had friends and people that we've talked to on here. We've had guys that have recorded music and stuff, and man, it's a situation where you can be super talented and write this extraordinary stuff, and your chances of what I'm going to say making it big or being monetarily successful in this business are still slim. And there's people that beat their heads against the wall and just don't understand. And my hat's off to you, dude. It sounds like you do music because you love what you do, and that's it, man. That's where it ends.
It's just like anything that anybody takes passionately. Some people like motocross. Some people are diehard NASCAR fans. I'm a diehard music lover. I really enjoy learning and progressing. I would never ever say that I'm at the maximum level of where I'm going to achieve my musicianship. I'm always learning. I'll die always learning.
Sure.
And that's how anybody who's passionate about their craft or their sport, that's the best way if you look at the most successful people, that's how they look at it even after they've become successful. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just like my business, without getting off track too much, it's a learning every single day. And the second you say you know everything, is when you're going to get slapped.
Yep.
Anyway.
Got to stay humble.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, listen to me. Explain to me something. I've watched these shows. For example, The Voice. Okay, and maybe somebody comes on that show and they kind of, just because of the sound of their voice and how they sing, they kind of lump them maybe into that indie category. I've always kind of been curious: is there a sound that is categorized with this genre of music, or is that just something that kind of Hollywood put on it, or so to speak? I'm curious about that.
Well, there's a division line there. Okay. Of course, we know about music industry standard. Even though technology has changed and will always continue to change, the music industry will always pretty much have a standard, a line of quality and production that must be adhered to. Indie falls outside of that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's of lesser quality. It just means that it's not following that blueprint that is laid out for the professional industry quality production. And anybody can do that style of production. I mean, obviously technology's gotten to the point to where if you get good with programs like Pro Tools or FL Studio or anything like that, you can make that kind of production. But basically, indie usually tries to stay outside of what I would call the status quo of that type of production, to answer your question.
Okay. So it doesn't really. I mean, that's something the industry kind of is puts on that a label, so to speak. As far as they're concerned, that's what they want to hear.
Two different inner circles. No,
I'm assuming you're going to play for us later, like a little bit later, right? I mean,
sure.
But what would you like your sound, or what would you, or do you really not have a? You just play everything.
I have my influences, but I mean, I've been doing this for so many years now. I try not to really coin it to anything, but I mean, I can give you two of my favorite mainstream artists, and I can name some of my lesser non-mainstream artists. And these are old cats, cats like Pink Floyd, Jimi Hendrix. Love that type of stuff, but don't necessarily adhere to that. Take it to the next Dream Theater level, Yngwie, Satriani. I don't go that far with it because I usually use an acoustic guitar most of the time.
Right.
But I love that type of stuff in that direction. And then as far as indie, oh man, there's too many to name. I definitely think a really good example would be Tom Waits. Tom Waits is definitely not your conventional type of, even though he's got a lot of really popular albums, he didn't start off that way, and most people will not listen to Tom Waits and be like, yeah, it's a snappy tune.
Right. Well, I mean, most people are just, our ears have been conditioned to, listen to the I'm gonna say a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of crap, dude. Like that comes onto the radio. I'm gonna be honest with you, just stinky, stinky stuff. And I'm like, how does this stuff?
It's hard to play nice, isn't it?
How is this guy making any freaking money? Somehow he is, man. He doesn't have any talent. My daughter turns on the radio the other day and turns on this station and it made me feel old because I remember my folks saying this to me. It's like, man, this stuff is crap, man. How do you listen to this stuff? This guy can't sing. I don't know. I think that a lot this stuff is a breath of fresh air. I love listening to stuff that people are passionate about, and that they and that's why I'm excited to hear your stuff, just because you've been in this industry for a long time, but you've been in this industry for what I believe are the right reasons. Just not to make money, but to do something that you love. And I think that's where a lot of these people are missing the boat, man. I mean, they're just doing the stuff that sells. And don't get me wrong, I listen to that stuff too, but I really love to hear people's passion, that they're able to, share with us. So
yeah, damn, man, I understand that completely. When you're doing it to make money, a lot of times.
Not that bad. Not that that's bad, but it's just.
But obviously, what 5 people had to work with. Are we allowed to talk about other artists in like third person?
I think as long as you don't play their stuff, right?
Yeah, right. Well, Miley Cyrus. 5 people work on the song "Wrecking Ball." 5 people. Okay. You know how many people worked on the song "Bohemian Rhapsody" by Queen? 1. One person designed that song on a piano and vocals, and he is no longer with us. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's a drop-off of quality. I mean, you can tell when something is spawned from passion and genuine love for the art, and something else is spawned just for revenue. But, there are the exceptions to the rule. There's guys like Michael Jackson, who I honestly believe had a lot of heart. You know what I mean? Some stuff fell off into some weird areas, but I do believe that.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. The guy was just loaded with talent, man. I mean, the guy just had it going on, and as a result, there aren't a lot of people that you talk to, no matter what their music preferences are, that won't agree with you on that one. So most people will. The guy was just universal, man, and his stuff is timeless. So
just the music as well. Just like the music. That's all.
No,
I'm trying to stay out of the press stuff, No,
the other stuff, yeah, man. The guy, yeah. I'll stop right there, man. I could go on for days, but so what have you, as far as Google Plus goes, have you found this place to be a good place? I mean, have you been very well received with your stuff, and do you use other social media outlets to get your stuff out there and have people listen to it, or
I mean, I try and stay on top of new technology as it unfolds. Reddit was something that I actually was familiar with. The encoding structure of it, how it was actually designed, long before. Once I learned that it was based on the IRC servers, which, if you're not familiar with that, that's just something that's older than dirt. Internet relay chat was something that people used to use on 14.4 modems back in 1995, and the whole Reddit concept is based on that type of infrastructure. So, and that's a newer technology. It's like an enhanced form of microblogging, and a lot of younger people use it. It's their preferred form of medium, as opposed to like Facebook, where Facebook is very, very controlled, and it feels like there's somebody lingering over you and messing with you all the time. Reddit is very, very, it's got this final frontier feel to it, to where you got to fend for yourself, and people can be very dishonest. I mean, they can be very honest about disliking you, and they're not going to be worried about the social repercussions of it like on Facebook. So
Right.
it's you got to stay on top of those new technologies. Like a lot of people are really fearful of Twitter when it came out. You know, it's the same type of thing.
Right. Now, I am a believer in, without getting too off on up on a tangent, but I'm a believer that these when you come to these social, I was a member of Facebook for a long time, and then I come to Google Plus, and it had some things to offer that Facebook didn't. But when it comes down to it, it comes down to people are people, man, and no matter the medium of how you get your brand, or your if it's just simply wanting to get to know people or whatever, people are going to be people no matter what. And when people talk about people real or not or whatever, I don't think it matters what you're on. It's not going to change your your personality, your demeanor, or whatever. But Google Plus has got some cool things to offer. Facebook's got some cool things to offer, and I think you just got to kind of choose what's best for you and run with it. But hey, let's not waste any more time. Let's hear some of your stuff, man. I'm excited to hear it. So let's break out the acoustic, man. I love it. So hey, Jason, what kind of guitar is that, man? I got to ask because I'm in this business, and that's
yeah,
right.
this is you already spotted it. Yeah, it's an Ovation, but it's a new style Ovation. It's a cutback. This is supposed to be their first take on an original electric acoustic series. So you'll notice it doesn't have the big, wide, round back. It's almost flatter. Traditionally, Ovations have been designed for women because curvy is more comfortable for curvy.
Right.
But I really was interested in this guitar because I had played one in a music store, and I was really impressed with its performance. It plays like an electric, but it sounds like an acoustic, and you can also make it sound like an electric if you have the proper tools to do so.
I've always liked Ovations because I think they've got a different tone to them than most of the other acoustics out there. But but you got to like it. Some people don't like them. I happen to think that they've got a great tone to them. So anyway, let's hear it, man.
No problem. I'll start off with an instrumental. It's kind of rocky. This is called The Frozen Tides. And I'm going to go into studio mode.
man. That's great. So, Jason, is that a song that you've recorded already that somebody could listen to?
Yeah, man. Actually, that's called The Frozen Tides. I have that on Google Play and on Reverb Nation, which is pretty much the repository for most of my music. Those are the two places that I use to make sure most people can get their hands on my music if they want it. Of course, if you're going to download from Google Play, you do usually have to have an account set up, which requires a credit card, but it doesn't mean they're going to charge it. Reverb Nation, on the other hand, is you can download from any country in the world, and all you need is an email address. So those are two of my repositories for over 170 songs.
So you can go to Reverb Nation and Google Play if you want to hear your stuff, right?
Yeah, and your cup will run a over. There's just a lot of music.
So hey, can we? We've been wanting to a while look for some stuff to maybe play on the intro to our show. Can we use some of your stuff to do that?
You're more than welcome to. I mean, that's what I highly encourage. I've been a lot of people have approached me and asked me to use my stuff for indie productions and movies and stuff like that. And I tell them, I'm like, if there's anything you want, just take it. So the same thing with you, man. If you hear anything on there, and that music goes across the board, man, it's very diverse. I mean, you've got stuff that sounds. I've got stuff that kind of sounds dubsteppy to stuff like what you just heard there. I mean, and some stuff that even gets pretty aggressive, from kind of like a punky, thrashy feel. There's 170 songs. I wasn't going to do every song the same.
You trying to make my dog bark again?
Yes, and I have some comments
okay.
that we need to jump to real quick.
Okay.
William Rock said, "Wow, I took the dogs out for a quick walk, came back to my office rocking out. This dude is a rock star." And of course, he's wanting to know where to find those things, and hopefully we'll get the links to Reverb and Google Play for you in the comments.
Stick those up.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to say hello to Rebecca Erickson. She's with us today, and Lisa Ortega. And then hello, William. There we go.
Wait, so Rhonda, let's work on that, man. If we've got Jason's permission to use this, and we can have a cool intro without getting Google, right?
Absolutely. And I would love for Jason to tell everybody about the Milk Jam. Week 17 is coming up, so congrats on that. That's October the 7th, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, the Milk Jam. I'm going on my 17th week, which is kind of a virgin, HOA, about 4.5 months in. So, but I've been staying very dedicated to it every Friday, 8 p.m. West Coast time, so that's 11 East Coast time. That's been something that I've had to kind of acclimate to. One of the links to the two sites is in the chat now. The Reverb Nation one. I'll post the Google Play here in a second. But back to what I was saying. I wanted to basically do something to where I could go in and pretty much not have to worry about the fact that no matter what happens, I can just jam. And, there's already a lot of good hangouts on air that do that. But the thing with me is I didn't want to really have to worry about the social hierarchy that kind of comes with a lot of these things. I mean, obviously, you'll see some of these hang out on airs, and you'll see the 500 comment maximum maxed out within like 5 minutes. So, I mean, I don't want to yield those type of results. That's a little bit overbearing, to try and jam and then keep up with it. So, in one way, I really hope it doesn't get too popular, but in another way, I hope it draws the right type of musicians. He dropped out for a second.
Absolutely. I think we lost Ryan for a minute. Let's see. William Rock is saying maybe. Oh, he wonders if he can use some of that in his paintball videos. And again, William will post the link to that as soon as the show is over.
Yeah.
Jimmy, how'd you like that music, buddy?
Yeah, man. I will definitely. I will make sure you guys have all the links, and everybody listening and paying attention to has access to the what I call the repositories of my database of over 170 songs. Anybody's welcome them to use them for pretty much anything, as long as it doesn't. As long as nothing bad or illegal happens. Yeah. Other than that. Yeah, I've been doing this for over a lot of these songs are over a decade old. So, you got to take that into accountability. That I'm always writing new stuff, but a lot of this stuff, I hit 100 songs at about 3 years in, and I'm about 13, 14 years of having this particular project established.
Are you back with us, Ryan? What he's trying to be, Jason.
How about I jam one while he's...
Hey, let her rip, dude.
All right.
Yeah.
In studio.
We're missing some.
There you go. There's a little filler for you.
Thank you, man.
Wow.
I liked it. It's very, to me, it's very, it's just passionate, man. You can hear your passion in it. You really can, Jason. My hat's off to you. That's awesome. So.
Thanks, man. I
I could
appreciate it.
listen to that all day.
It's good stuff, man. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like you can listen to it. You could listen to that music if you're in like a real like kind of rockin' mood, but you can also listen to it to drown out the day, man. I mean, it's like multi.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
that Pink Floyd influence I talked about earlier. Yeah, man, I pull a lot. I wouldn't dare compare myself to Pink Floyd, but I pull a lot from that. There's that majestic, just kind of serenity, but also at the same time, there's a sharp enough edge to cut myself.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, so let's play Pawn or Die, dude. So
All right.
is it that time, Rhonda?
Before we do, I want to let Tim Long know, yes, Reverb Nation, and I'll be posting the link for that as soon as we go off air. I can't comment while we've got this going on, but yeah. Ready to hit a little Pawn or Die.
Where's our intro?
I'm game.
Well, it would help if I turn my sound up, wouldn't it?
All right, dude. The way this game works, if you've never seen it before, have you ever watched somebody play Pawn or Die?
Yes, I paid attention to the episode with Christine DeGraff pretty intensely. That was pretty.
Okay. So you kind of have a gist for it. So we're giving you, you're opening up a pawn shop, a fictional pawn shop, and we're giving you 5,000 fictional dollars to do so. All right. What the objective is we're gonna put 5 different items in front of you, one at a time, of course, and you're gonna guess how much you would pay for those items if they were to come into your pawn shop, and then also how much you would be selling those items for. And the objective is to get at least a one-time markup out of them. Okay.
Right.
And so, without further ado, let's have item number 1, please.
Let's do. Hold on, I'm having a hard time getting it to catch up with me today. Here we go. All right. I know, right? Okay, item number 1. This is what we had going on for our preview.
Oh yeah, you like this, man.
Beatles albums.
So
Fine.
this is live recordings by the Beatles, volumes 1 and 2. This is recordings before they became household names. Before Abbey Road, they were with a different label, and these are in excellent shape. And so, if these came into your store, Jason, what would you pay for them, and then what would you sell them?
Well, I know this is a game, so I don't want to get too analytical, but I would first have to check, the condition of them. Can you give me, what is the condition? Are there any scratches on them?
Not brand new. They have been played before. However, there are not any visible scratches or wear on them.
And how is the
case, the cardboard case on them? No splits in the seams. There is a little bit of, like on the corners, maybe a little bit of wear on the corners, but nothing's coming apart. Vinyl. The covers for vinyl are really prone to, because you're putting the records in and out of them, to splitting at the seam, especially in the back of the cover. So, and this one's not doing that. It doesn't look like it's off the shelf, but I would say if you're going to rate it from 1 to 10, and being brand spanking new in the plastic, probably be about an 8.
And they're to be sold as one item, not separate, correct?
I'm selling them as a set. Yes. Yeah.
So I would probably say 30 as my initial investment.
Okay, so $30. All right. And then you would sell them for how much?
I would probably turn around and try and get as close to maybe, probably somewhere. Well, I have to give you a dead set number, huh? I'm gonna say 100.
Okay. Well done, man. Yeah, well done. So, $30 and $100. Yeah, very, very well done. Okay, so number 2. Item number 2. Ah, you got to know this one, man.
There we go.
Oh, I'm supposed to be looking at. Okay. Oh yeah. Did you take? Dimension.
So this one, this has got a kind of a funny story behind it. This one is one of my guys bought a case with some microphone stuff in it, and this was in it. And I came in the next day, and he's like, "Hey, I bought this. What do you think?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is pretty good, man. How much did you pay for it?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't really know what to do. So I gave the guy $25 for it. He wanted 30, and so I go, yeah, this is a good one, dude. And he paid for it more based on the microphone equipment versus this.
Right.
This is a Boss Dimension C effects pedal, and I just sold this. Okay, I just sold this, so I know about what they're worth. But if this came into your store, how much would you pay for it?
Well, given that you've checked that it's in fully operational condition and doesn't have a lot of dents and dings, and the buttons are
It is in excellent shape and
excellent shape. Okay, well, Boss. What I know about Boss is top of the line when it comes to effects pedals and processors. When I think Boss, I think of probably some of the more high-dollar stuff out there. So that being the case, for any normal type of pedal like Dig-Attack or something like that, I'd probably say, I think you go in increments of like 10, 20, 30. I don't know if you do odd numbers.
Come on, man. It's your shop.
Well, I would, a cheap pedal, like a cheaper version of that, I would say 15. But because of this particular pedal, because of its rarity and its association with a top-of-the-line brand, I'm also going to go $30 on this one as well.
Okay. Okay.
And as far as the markup, I'll go 120.
All right.
Okay, ready for number 3? Here we go. This is the Burton.
Yep. Okay, man. So this, I've seen quite a few of these era of snowboards. I haven't seen this exact board with the graphics on it, nor have I seen one in this good of condition. This thing is, it obviously has been ridden, but it's low miles on it, man. This thing is in excellent shape. A lot of the ones you see with this thing, they're splitting apart. Like the laminating on the wood is splitting apart at the seams, at the corners and stuff. Not at all on this one. This one is in awesome shape. These are highly collectible, especially with snowboard guys. There's not that many of them around, especially in good condition. People just rode and rode and rode these things. This is where snowboarding began. This is like one of the first snowboards put out, production snowboards put out. So it is a Burton 145, Woody 145. So obviously Burton's still around, but these are great snowboards. So what would you buy this for, and then what would you sell it for?
Well, if someone walked into my store with that particular snowboard, and I did take a general interest in it, two things that I would notice about it right off the top of my head, and I'll try not to draw this out, is number one, the brand. As you said, this is a Pioneer snowboard. And then, of course, the shape on the tail. A lot of people, when they look at that type of snowboard, they consider it a dinosaur, and they associate the fact of the design with the fact that they can't toe carve, which basically means they can flop around backwards, and the back becomes the front and has the same design on both ends. So it gives them the ability to do this really, crazy thing that snowboarders like to do called toe carving, which is what they do in the extreme sport. But anyways, getting back to the point, since it probably wouldn't be associated with more of a modern day use of the board and more of a collector's item, it kind of puts me in an odd position. This is not the normal type of thing I would be expecting to bid on. Or I'm sorry, I didn't mean make an offer on. The reason why I thought bid is because it's a collector's item. I think something like this would belong in an auction house and not a pawn shop. And if I had it, I would be placing it on auction sites as opposed to trying to sell it to people walking into my store.
Probably, yeah. You're not going to get a ton of takers that way. But yeah, you're right.
So an offer to the person coming in, 50.
Okay. And what do you think that would be worth to someone?
Well, just somebody just walking in the store or on an auction
it's top dollar, like somebody want that want you get it out in front of just the right person.
Well, you said the bindings were in good shape?
Everything is. Yeah, it's in top to bottom awesome shape.
I'd start it off at 200.
Okay. Okay, number 4, Sista.
All right, this is a Winchester rifle.
Oh, this is a good one. Okay, this is a Winchester Model 88. Caliber is a .308. Now, this was Winchester's answer. Well, it was Winchester's answer to the Savage 99. That's lever action. Not a ton of them made. They come in 3 different calibers. The .308 is probably the most common caliber that comes in. If you get them in some of the other calibers, they can get more expensive. But this is a good gun. They don't make it anymore. A lever action gun. This one's a really good condition. So, what do you think that you would buy this for?
Do we have a year?
I don't know exactly. I didn't need to look the serial numbers up, but I'm going to tell you that it's probably a early 70s.
Early 70s. So, correct me if I'm wrong. You're in the business. I'm not. But anything over 30 years old is an antique, correct?
Well,
anything over 20, isn't it?
No, that means that it's a classic. 20 years, over 20 years is a classic. Antique, I think, is years or something like that. But
how many years?
I think it's like 60 years or something like that. I could be wrong on that, but this gun, there's some collectability just because they're not made anymore. There weren't that many of them made when they made them, and so there's just not a lot of them out there. I mean, you don't see them very often, and so they've, as a result, and of course, it's a Winchester, and so Winchester is a huge name in the gun industry, and so all those things kind of combine for something that is a little bit more desirable versus something that's similar. So,
one last question:
yeah.
Does it actually fire?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so it's in operational condition.
Yeah, which is a good question because that is really, really affects the value, can affect the value of the gun. So, whether it fires or not. I mean, that can be. Oh, see, now she comes out and barks. So
There she goes.
That's all good.
anyway,
The scope, that's the actual stock scope. That's not a modification.
I don't know that for sure. I don't know that it's one that came on there.
Okay, I've already got my number. 80. 80 is what I would invest.
Okay. What do you think you'd resell that for?
I'd probably go for 300.
Okay.
Okay, and here comes the next one, Jason. This is a mountain bike. And one that I think runs quite well.
This is a here. This is a 2010 Rocky Mountain Slayer. So it's going to be an all mountain bike. All mountain meaning that it's got a longer travel to it. It's more meant for guys that are hitting the hard stuff. Great bike. So it's a 2010. I think it's in phenomenal condition. Box shocks. It's in good shape. So what would you buy this for, and what would you in turn sell it for?
Oh, I got to get a little more information about it. What was the brand again? One more time.
Rocky Mountain, which is Canadian.
Canadian.
So, now I'm Kirk. Yeah, Canada.
Okay.
Hey, you can say Happy Thanksgiving because I believe it's Thanksgiving in Canada today.
Oh, so their Thanksgiving is our Columbus
It's today. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the front wheel there, and I don't know, are my eyes playing tricks on me, or is there some type of like stickers or something there on the inner part of the wheel?
Yeah, and there's just that's just kind of the brand. They've got the brand and maybe the size and model of the wheel on there.
Okay, so it's stock.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just it's a really good bike. Now this one I think is a small. A girl brought this one into me, and she was very distraught about having to pawn her bike, but she needed tires for her car more than she needed the bike at the time. So
125.
Okay.
And I'm just saying that because of the story about the girl.
All right, what would you sell it for?
I'd probably mark it for $375.
Okay. Okay. So this last part of the show is called Jerk's Junk. Okay. And that never gets old, man. I'm telling you.
Nope,
right?
funny every time.
So what Kirk does is he goes and he picks something out of his mess of things, and
Okay, we're all still back in here. I don't know what just happened.
I don't know. Yeah, that was weird. It kind of flashed off for a second, and she's
We're
coming
still
back.
live there, right? Okay.
Yeah, that was weird, man. Did you go off there for a second?
Yeah, it was almost like there was a power outage, but I had power. It was weird.
Yeah. So it luckily kicked us right back on. So anyway, while we're waiting for Rhonda to come back on, there's
Can you guys hear me?
yeah. So
Yes.
we all kind of got kicked off, but kind of came back on, thankfully. So so I don't know what this item is. He's picked it out and told me, and so we're kind of going head to head on this one, Jason. So I'll guess.
Okay, I gotta get it pulled back up because I got it booted
Oh,
out.
okay.
Check right. Check one. Get this.
And you know what? We may have to skip it because it's not going to.
Check what?
Oh, they're gonna pull up. Well, that's okay. We can go back through the stuff that we've done already. Can you pull the other stuff back
Yeah, we
up?
can. Nope, it won't let me open the.
Check.
Oh, okay, that's fine. We can go back through it.
Okay, but we can talk about it.
Yes, we'll talk about it.
Check one. There we go. Sorry. I'm just trying to get my mic dial back in. That's
Okay.
weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to us. We just got booted out.
Check.
The first one was the Beatles album.
Beatles albums.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, there are some of these. You get her dialed in.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, okay. Okay, there are some of these can be worth quite a bit. Now, these are more like for your collector, your kind of your casual collector that doesn't want to spend a ton of money. Really good on this one.
Right.
I would probably, you guessed 30. you get and you sell it for 100, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably be a little more conservative on this one. Probably go 20. And I did sell these already, and I sold them for $100. So you're right on the money on that one. So,
Awesome.
You hit that one out of the park, homie.
I was just trying to be realistic.
Okay.
Keeping it real.
What was the
All
second?
right, our next one was the Boss pedal.
Oh, okay. So you guessed 30. Now, to be fair, I paid less than that for all this stuff. So you get a pass on that one. But I just sold this thing for $200, and I sold it pretty easily. And I think if in a real situation where somebody were to bring just that in and they kind of knew what they had, I might pay $50 to $75 for it. But that was a good one. So you did okay on that one as well. So what was the third?
The third one was the Burton Woody snowboard.
Okay. So
There we go.
I paid $50 for this one. Okay.
Oh, right on the money.
Okay, but and you did okay because you're going to 4 times your money on this thing.
Right.
But I think that if you got it out in front of the right person, I've seen these things go for as much as $500. Now I'm not saying that's what you're going to get out of it, but I think if you got it in front, it's in that good a condition.
I would have hoped for that, but like I would have auctioned it and hoped it built up to that.
Yeah, that's why you've got to. I like your thinking that, especially you got to be a little bit more conservative on these type of things, just because it is a collector item and you don't know how it's going to go for you on those. So, all right, man. So number 4.
Number 4 was the Winchester rifle.
Okay, so this one I think you sold yourself a little short on this one. I paid $300 for it, and the gun's worth $800 all day long. And that's even a pretty easy sale at $800. But you never know. You never know. With guns, do they work? Do they not work? The whole bit. So, I think your guy probably would have walked on you though for $80. I'm just saying, man. So.
A lot of that had to do with the scope. Like I took a look at it and I just couldn't. I could not tell if it was 100% genuine. So I mean that was my stance.
Yeah. Okay, last item.
Last one was the mountain bike.
Okay, so little short on this one too. I paid $500 for it. Your guy would have walked.
Wow.
And the bike is probably worth $1,500 to $1,800 pretty easily. So it's built that nice. It's that nice bike and that good a condition. So, but I
wouldn't have guessed that.
Well, if you don't know bikes, it's tough, man. That's a tough deal. So, I think you half pawn and half die, dude. So, but well done, man. Well done. Hey, dude. Jason, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us. We appreciate you playing for us. We are going to use some of your music for the show. That's awesome, and we will give you the love for it. So that's for sure, right, Rhonda?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Anyway, once again, if people want to listen to Jason's music, they can go to, is it Reverb Nation?
Reverb Nation or Google Play, and I'll have the links in the comment stream in just a minute.
Okay.
And if you would like to RSVP to week 17 of the Milk Jam, that is in the
So what night is that on? What night is that on?
Friday nights.
Friday nights. Okay. Yeah, we'll be be joining that. That'll be fun. So.
Yeah, it's a really good show. I've seen it quite a few times, and
awesome.
It's amazing.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us. I know it was a little bit of a long show. We kind of got popped in and out of the Google thing a couple of times, but thanks to Jason, thanks to TJ for coming on and hanging out with us for a little while, and Rhonda, thanks. We'll see everybody next week on Jerk's Corner. We don't know who our guest's going to be on that one, and I hope Kirk's going to be on that one. So yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for sure. So anyway, join us next week on that one. Join us in 2 weeks for Pond Boys, and thank you very much. See you.